welcome back to the One in a Million channel. This is Eunice Chan here, and I'm so excited to have you guys here today because today I want to talk about something that has really shifted my perspective in life and how I became a very collaborative, a very cooperative person with working with what life has to give me, and really changing my whole perspective and learning to become unbreakable. I was always the kind of person who wanted to fight life head on, to face any kind of challenges, circumstances, difficulties head on, and confront all of my fears. And I would just feel like I have to hold up my fists against life so that I can power through anything. I remember developing this mindset that I need to be tough and strong and I need to become unbreakable. Whatever life throws at me, whatever challenges are being thrown at me, whatever life throws my way, I feel like I needed to just crush them and overcome them. That mentality, it actually made me a fighter. It made me almost like always hold up my fists and anticipate for difficulty, as opposed to the mindset that I've adopted right now. So I wanted to talk about like what really makes a person unbreakable is the idea that there's absolutely nothing to break. There's nothing to break, and nothing is trying to break you. Life is not here to break you. Sometimes when difficult things happen and, people ask, oh, what happened? And usually the answer is like, oh, life happened. Life threw things at me. And it almost seems like life is this antagonistic character that you have in your life that throws inconveniences in your life. But there's one question that I wanted to share with you that I started asking in my life every single time something I felt was really inconvenient, or I felt like there was a challenge that I came up against, that I encountered. Whenever I came up to a situation, I would learn to ask myself this question, and this question changed everything for me. Now, there was a point in my life where I told myself, okay, I just have to see it as an advantage. What is the advantage in here? And I almost like really resisted against the question. It's almost because like, okay, I was just trying to like retrain myself to see the advantage in everything. But for me, like it was very difficult because I was just convincing myself that, okay, there's got to be an advantage somewhere. I've just got to see it. And nowhere in my mind was I seeing the advantage in any situation and circumstance. I was also resisting to acknowledge that there was any advantage in any kind of difficult situation as well. This is not working, and I came up with something different that actually worked so much better. And I wanted to take this opportunity to share it with you because every time I asked this question, I felt like I really regained my power and I saw life in a different light. I no longer saw life as something that was here to break me, who were here to just test me, throw challenges at me, throw curveballs at me. When something difficult happened, it wasn't like my first response was, oh, life happened. I learned to be cooperative and collaborative with life, and I felt like it was a very big identity shift as well. Are you guys ready for it? I have it on note paper, but like I don't actually need it to remind myself. So the question is, every time something like this happened, I would ask myself, what is life trying to show me? What is life trying to show me? So if I don't force myself to assume that this has got to be some kind of advantage, there's got to be a lesson. There's got to be like some kind of advantage in the situation that I'm not seeing. Then I'm no longer forcing myself to believe that it's an advantage, because sometimes it's really hard to believe that there's an advantage in this situation. Sometimes it's really hard to believe that there's an opportunity. So if my mind doesn't want to see it, I'll create resistance against that statement. But if I'm asking the question, like, what is life trying to show me? Okay, I'm assuming that there's definitely something that I'm not seeing that's happening right now. Is that true? Yeah, that's absolutely true. I'm also acknowledging the fact that I don't see the full picture. Is that true? Yeah, that's absolutely true, because I don't see all the existing elements around the entire situation and circumstance. So I acknowledge that there are a lot of missing pieces that I don't yet know, that I have not yet seen, that I can still try to figure my way out. I can eventually down the road, maybe I'll see those things. I also acknowledge, like with this statement, I'm asking it from a place of assuming that life itself has an intelligence on its own that I may not necessarily understand. So there's a higher intelligence, there's a higher order of things that's happening, regardless if I believe it or not, regardless if I agree with it or not, regardless if I'm paying attention or not, regardless if I'm looking or not. There's a higher order that's already in operation. I'm asking from that assumption. And when I ask, what is life trying to show me? It implies that I have a relationship with this thing called life, and that it is up to me to observe what it is showing me, what is being revealed to me. Now, I can choose to not see it. I can choose to not pay attention to it. I can choose to not acknowledge it. But the question implies that there is already this relationship, and that I can be an active participant. I can pay attention, I can tune in, or I can choose not to, which means I probably will miss the opportunity. The last part of the question that makes it very powerful is that it implies that it is my job to find out what are the missing pieces. It's my job to find out what life is trying to show me. It reveals to me that there's obviously some parts that I don't yet see, and it is my job to find out. So I get to choose at this point, what is it do I need to see that I don't see already? What is it about my perspective? What is my current mindset? What is my current attitude? It allows me to become very introspective and become very curious about, all right, well, these are the things that I know, these are the things that I can already see, but what else is out there that I can make myself available for, I can open myself up for, that I don't already know. So it becomes like this problem solving, putting this puzzle together, trying to connect all the dots, and really being in this place of receptive mode, like asking life, what are you trying to show me? What is it that you want me to see? What this allows me to do is, guys, this is like so powerful, because I no longer feel like life is working against me, and I no longer have to force myself to believe that there's an advantage. Allowing myself to open myself up to this open-ended question allows me to dissolve any resistance that I have against the situation. I don't have to force any belief on myself. I don't have to force myself that this is happening for the better. I don't have to force myself to think that this is happening for the best. As a matter of fact, it's up to me to decide what I see, what I receive, and then how I interpret it. That's entirely up to me eventually. This is what I wanted to share with you guys, because the moment I changed my perspective in the way that I interact with life, I also really saw myself surrendering all the control, giving up all my resistance to fighting against life. And I'm like, okay, you know what? If you want to show me something, if you want me to see what I wasn't seeing before, I am totally open to it. And I feel like I just released that clenching energy. Let me know what comes up for you when you ask this question. If something is happening in your life right now, if you have a situation in your life, like, give this question a go and tune in, pay attention to see what answers come up for you. I think the first step of receiving is always just being open to asking the question in the first place. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys, and thank you for joining Eunice's Corner late in the evening in Mexico. I love you guys so much. Let me know what you think about this video. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you very soon.